Welcome there. So absolutely glad to be with you on today. As you're coming in, we're live. If you're just joining, welcome to the CBL Wealth Blueprint. And I am Dwayne, the Success King. So excited to have you in this great opportunity for you to level up all the great things that are planned for your life. Listen, I want you to do me a favor and drop in where you're watching from today. Where you're watching from today. I don't care if it's in the live or in the comments. Just let me know. Where are you watching from? I love to see where we are reaching people at. And so it's exciting if you would do that on today to just let us know where you are watching us from. And I'll be so glad for it. Extremely glad as we're just looking to get some things together. All right. So it's important today that we've got this opportunity that you are a part of. Now, listen, while the room begins to fill, I'm going to ask you something very extremely simple on today. If you're currently operating a business or actively building one, I would like for you to type 7, the number 7, right now, because today we're going to talk about something that institutions already know. They've known it for a long time, and today you're going to know it as well. So stay close. We start this thing in just a few seconds because I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to get this information and to level up what you're doing because there's a clear path for your success. And today we want to make sure that you are operating in that clear path. Now, this is important. Right now, today, there are thousands of entrepreneurs running full speed, following every strategy they've ever been sold, doing everything they were told to do. And the banks, the institutions that hold the capital gates to the 7 figures are quietly using a blueprint that guarantees those same entrepreneurs never get there. This is not an accident. This is important. I've been in the rooms where capital gets deployed at 7 and 8 figures. I've seen the profile that gets approved. I've seen the profile that gets declined. The difference has nothing to do with hustle. Nothing to do with how hard you work. Nothing to do with how bad you want it. This is important. Today, I'm going to show you what the 7-figure blueprint actually is. Because here's the truth. You cannot position for something you cannot see. And the part that's going to hit different today, this blueprint was never hidden. It was visible the whole time. They just made sure you were looking somewhere else. So I want you to stay with me and do me a favor real quick. Subscribe to this great channel if you're not. Hit the like button so more people can be on top of this type of information just like you are on today. Now, this is critical for us. First, let's talk about the real problem. That is what it is not. Most entrepreneurs who are stuck right now are not stuck because of a lack of effort. They're stuck because they've been sold the wrong blueprint. And the wrong blueprint looks just like this. Flake blueprint is what it is. It's fake. Blueprint number 1, the hustle blueprint. So the hustle blueprint is like this. Here's what the hustle blueprint actually is. It is a volume strategy disguised as a growth strategy. More calls, more clients, more hours, more revenue. And listen, none of that is wrong. But here's what it is not. It is not a positioning strategy. Actually, it is not the same as positioning. The system, the institutions that control capital They profit when you confuse those two things, because a busy entrepreneur is not a threat. A positioned entrepreneur is. I want you to do me a favor. Type an H if you've ever worked harder and still felt further away. Have you ever worked harder and still felt further away? Because I'm looking to see you, if that's you, put an H in that chat or put an H in the comment, because I want you to be aware of what's going on. I want you to be aware, because this is not a you problem. This is a blueprint problem. Fake blueprint number 2, the tactics blueprint. Fake blueprint number 2 is all about tactics, and here's what it actually is. It's a collection of moves with no architecture underneath them. You've done the webinars, you've bought the courses, you learned the tactics, and those tactics produced results sometimes, but nothing sustainable. They never built toward 7 figures. And here's why. Tactics without a credit, business, life structure underneath them are just expensive experiments. Because the truth of the matter is, banks don't evaluate tactics. They evaluate profiles. A lender doesn't look at your funnel. They don't look at your content calendar. They don't look at your social media following. They look at your profile. And if your profile doesn't speak the same language they speak, it doesn't matter how good your tactics are. Listen, business owners, your revenue generating tactics mean nothing to a capital decision if your profile isn't built to communicate access. The profile has to be built first. Fake blueprint number 3, the income blueprint. This one is important. This one is the most dangerous of the 3 because it makes the most logical sense. Here's what the income blueprint is. It is the belief that revenue alone creates access. That is what you just have to do. You just make more money. The banks, the institutions, the capital sources, they'll come to you. And here's what it's not. It's not how the system actually works. You see, revenue does not equal access. And I'm going to say that again. Revenue without structure is invisible to the system. The institutions that control capital access are not looking at your bank deposits alone. They're looking at how your business is structured, how your credit is positioned, how your leverage is built. Revenue without the right structure is like showing up to a job interview in the wrong building. You did the work, you showed up, you were qualified, but you were in the wrong place. I'm going to say that again. Revenue without structure is invisible to the system. So we got to learn what the real blueprint is. So today, I want to share something most people never get taught. The real 7-figure blueprint is not 3 separate projects. It is one integrated architecture, 3 layers, 1 system, credit, business, life, CBL. And when those 3 are aligned, something happens that most people never experience. It's called leverage, real leverage. Let me show you what each layer actually is. Credit, layer 1. Here's what credit actually is in the 7-figure blueprint. It's not a score. It's not a report. Credit is a positioning language. The institutions speak this language fluently every day, all day. And most entrepreneurs were never taught to read it. The system taught you to chase the number. Get to 700, get to 750, get to 800. That's what they want you focused on. The blueprint teaches you something different. It teaches you to architect the profile. This is important. This is a different between someone who says a credit profile is built for consumption and a credit profile built for capital access. They can have the same score. same FICO, same Vantage, but they read completely differently to a lender. One profile says this person uses credit. The other profile says this person controls credit. That distinction right there is the beginning of the blueprint. I've been doing this 37 years, and the number one mistake I see entrepreneurs make is optimizing the score while ignoring the profile. You can have an 800 score and still get declined because the profile is sending the wrong signal. Credit isn't just about borrowing money. It's about positioning yourself for opportunity. I want you to do me a favor. Type C, if you will, if you've been focused on the score, but not the profile. Put a C in the chat or in the comment if you've been focused on the score, but not the profile. And this is important, and I'm glad to have you here for it. Now, layer 2 is B, and it stands for business. Here's what business structure actually is in the blueprint. It's not a legal protection vehicle. It's not just an LLC to separate liability. Business structure is a bankability signal. I want you to hear that. Most businesses in this country are structured to survive tax season. That's it. That's the goal. Keep the IRS happy. Separate expenses. File correctly. The blueprint structures the business totally differently. It structures the business to communicate stability and capacity to capital resources. When a lender looks at your business, they are reading a signal: entity maturity, revenue documentation patterns, banking behavior, how long the business has been in relationship with the financial system. Those signals either open doors or they close them. And most entrepreneurs don't even know the signals are being sent. Success doesn't happen by accident. I want you to get that. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you understand the system and position yourself the right way. Listen, my business owners, if your business structure was set up by an accountant who never discussed capital access, your structure is likely optimized for taxes, not for funding. Those are two different designs. And this is important. Do me a favor and type a B if your business structure was set up by an accountant but never reviewed by a capital strategist. This is important because we've got to get this down. Layer 3, L, life. Now, this is the one nobody talks about. This is the one the financial gurus skip right over. This is the one the credit coaches never address. And it might be the most important layer of them all. Here's what life actually is in the 7-figure blueprint. It's not your lifestyle. It's not your work-life balance. It's not your morning routine or your vision board. Life is your identity. It is your mindset. It is what you believe you deserve. And here's the truth that most people are not ready to hear. You can build a perfect credit profile. You can structure your business correctly. You can check every box the institutions are looking for and still self-sabotage. Why, you ask? Because the life layer was never addressed. Because somewhere inside, you don't fully believe you belong at 7 figures. You don't fully believe the access is for you. You don't fully believe that the person who gets those approvals and builds that wealth looks like you. And that belief right there is running your financial life. Listen to me personally. Tell you this. The life component was my issue, my challenge. And in dealing with hundreds and hundreds of people, most people, it is the life component troubling the credit and the business, but yet it is the component that gets addressed the least. I've seen it hundreds of times. An entrepreneur gets approved, capital is available, the door opens, and they hesitate, they shrink, They find a reason it won't work. That's not a credit problem. That's not a business structure problem. That's a life problem. The life layer is about the operating system running underneath everything else. How you see yourself. What you believe is possible for someone like you. What you've decided, consciously or not, that you deserve. Listen, don't brush over it real quickly. Don't just move past it because you don't want to deal with it. Men, we hate this idea, this concept of life. We hate the idea that something we might believe about ourselves might be slowing down our progress. But when you look at it, you're going to find out it was more important than I ever thought it was, because the truth of the matter is your external results will never permanently exceed your internal belief about what you're worth. You might push past it for a moment, but if the life layer hasn't been aligned, you will find a way to bring it back down every time. You're going to bring it back down. You're headed for great success and you're going to bring it back down. You're doing something wonderful and you're going to bring it back down. Here's a great breakthrough opportunity, but you will bring it back down. Same person, same tools, same opportunity, but different belief about what they deserve, completely different results. I didn't change anything about my life except what I believed I deserved. And it made all the difference. Do me a favor, type L if you've ever had an opportunity in front of you and talked yourself out of it. And I see the L. I have been that person. Great opportunity, but I talked myself out of it, because this is not weakness. This is what happens when the life layer hasn't been built, when nobody ever showed you that your belief system was part of the blueprint. The institutions don't teach you this because a person who knows their worth is a person they cannot underprice. This is important. Now we got to move forward so we get this. Now, here's where it all comes and connects. Credit is the language. Business is the signal. Life is the belief that you deserve the access those two things create. And when all three are aligned, when credit, business, and life are operating together as one system, that is when leverage becomes real. Leverage is not a tactic. It's not a product. It's not something you apply for. Leverage is what happens when a positioned credit profile, a structured business, and an aligned identity meet the same opportunity at the same time. The banks leverage capital every single day. Private equity leverages structured profiles. Institutions leverage assets at scale. They just don't tell you that the foundation underneath all of it is alignment, not just documentation. You've been working on documentation, and you should be working on alignment. Here's what separates a six-figure operator from a seven-figure one. It's not more revenue. It's not more hustle. It is credit, business, and life working together, not against each other. Because here's what I've seen happen. Only two of the three are aligned. And this is what happens. Credit and business aligned, but life isn't. You get approved, you hesitate, you don't move. The access was there, but the belief wasn't. Then there are people who have credit and life aligned, but business isn't. You believe you deserve it, you want it, but the business structure is sending the wrong signal, so the door stays closed. Then there are people who have business and life aligned, but credit isn't. The belief is there, the structure is there, but the language the institutions speak isn't being spoken by your credit profile. So again, the door stays closed. All three have to be aligned at the same time. This is the blueprint. And when that alignment happens, leverage is no longer a concept. It becomes your reality. This is important. If you want this in your life, you have to come to the place called alignment. And here's what we're going to see when we get to that place. Now, what the seven-figure blueprint actually looks like is credit, business, and life operating as one system, not three separate projects, not one at a time. One system, three pillars. And when those three pillars align, the result is leverage, real leverage, not the kind they teach in finance class, the kind that actually moves your life forward. The banks already know this. Every time a capital decision gets made at this level, they are assessing your credit language, your business signal, and whether they say it out loud or not, the conviction behind your application. The energy of someone who believes they belong in the room always is felt. Here's what I want you to remember. The blueprint is not three things. It is one thing with three expressions. Credit is the language. Business is the signal. Life is the belief that you deserve what the language and the signal can access. And leverage is what happens when all three speak at the same time. This is important. Same time. The real lesson is everything I've shown you today, the profile, the structure, the leverage, it's been documented. It's been used. It has been the standard for how capital moves at this level for decades. I mean, decades. You didn't miss it because you weren't smart enough. You didn't miss it because you didn't work hard enough. You didn't miss it because you don't deserve it. If you missed it because nobody showed you the right building to walk into. That's not a motivation problem. That's a visibility problem. That's a visibility problem. And visibility is correctable. I'm going to say it again. Visibility is correctable. This is important. Let me give you a quick recap of what we established today. Credit is not a score. It is a positioning language. And right now, your credit profile is speaking. The question is, what is it saying? Oh, because trust me, it's been speaking. It's been speaking for a long, long time. B, business structure is not just legal protection. It's a bankability signal. And right now, your business entity is sending a signal. The question is that signal opening doors or is it closing them? L, life. It's not just your lifestyle. It's your identity. It is what you believe you are worth, what you believe you deserve. And right now, that belief is either aligned with the access you want or is quietly working against everything you are currently building. And when credit, business, and life align, leverage is no longer a concept. It becomes your reality. You can't position for something you can't see. Well, I've shared it with you now. Now, if you choose to, you can see it. It's right there. Credit, business, life. Are they aligned? You see, the CBL Wealth Blueprint, what I created is designed to take what you now understand and build the execution plan that is specific to your business, your credit profile, your life layer, and where you are now. If you're watching this today and you recognize yourself in what I've talked about, if you see the gap, there's a link in the description to connect. This is where we go and dive in deeper. That's where the execution layer gets built for real. This is critical. I want you to do me a favor real quick. Subscribe to this great channel. Hit that like button so more people can be on top of this information just like you. I'm going to continue to go deeper on this. And here's the reason why we're going to go deeper. Because just like I said earlier, there are some of you watching this who have credit and business aligned, but life is out of alignment. Some of you are watching this and you've got business and life aligned. but credit is out of alignment. And some of you've got credit and life aligned, but business is out of alignment. And you keep driving yourself crazy, trying to figure out what work you could do that would produce it, instead of realizing that you really should be working on getting these three things that make up this one system in alignment, so that leverage just naturally happens. You just will naturally come into opportunity. I have seen something so phenomenal happen in the last 12 months of my business because of just alignment. A system that's just automatically. You don't have to be thinking about the individual part all day and all night. You simply have done the necessary work to get the credit, the business, and the life in alignment, one system. And what happens naturally is called leverage. You begin to be able to use it for other purposes. You begin to see that it gives you access. Are the doors closing? Listen, my friend, it's not because it's not your room. It's because you may be in the wrong building. Get aligned and watch what happens. And if you dare make up your mind that you're serious about aligning now because you want to walk with your 7 figures, well, listen, reach out. Next week, we're going to go deeper. So I want you to make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it. Because if this is going to work for us, we are simply going to have to accept the parts of it that have been working against us and flip that thing so that they work for us. Well, hit that like button again so more people get to see this. And I want you to understand something that is very important. You see, when you do your part and you set yourself up for the things that belong to you, you get to relax, you get to rest, and you get to watch the good stuff come into your life. Well, be blessed. I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Take care.